Hi there, welcome to Town Talks Card Fight. I haven't done a video in quite a while. I'm going to make this a regular thing. I've been a little bit ill, I've been quite busy as well, I've had stuff going on, but this is going to turn into something, say, once a week, twice a week, something like that. I'll come up with a schedule and I'll make sure I have videos coming out. But this is a new deck profile. This is my Dual Knight deck profile. It's more of a fun deck, it's not so competitive yet. It'll be competitive as of Generation Booster 1 when Stride support comes out. Probably competitive by February, to be honest, with the new Stride units coming out, because the Stride unit from the structure deck is really good for it, but mostly I'm waiting for the new support cards to come out for it, which are the new Legion Mate, and that's the big card which I'm waiting for. The new Legion Mate is amazing. So I'll explain about that when it comes out, or maybe in one of my other videos, but first off, let's go into the deck profile. I'm not going to be doing the pictures up this time because I'm just going to whack links in the description to all the cards, so if you want to look at them in detail you can have a look there. But yeah, let's go into the deck. For the starting Vanguard we have wonderful starter here, right? It's quite a weird starter. You wouldn't really want to run it generally, but it's the only really Dual Knight starter you got, and it's generally your target to lock. So yeah. Its ability, if you have 3 or more Dual Knights, it becomes an 8k. 3 or more other Dual Knight rearguards. So it's just a 8k vanilla, which you whack behind your Vanguard to hit columns. Not a lot else you can say about it. Next up, pretty standard. 4 heals, Dual Knight heals, because you're going to need Dual Knight Counterblast at some point in the future. I'm also running 4 draw, but these aren't the right triggers yet. I need to get the new triggers for these. So 4 draw, I want them to either be Margols or be Dual Knight draws, but I haven't got them at the moment, so I'm just using the old structure deck ones. I had Margols at one point. I've kind of traded them off now because I didn't believe I was going to be building a Dual Knight, a Royal Paladin deck for a while. So yeah, I traded those off. And 8 critical, all Dual Knight crits. Yeah. Just because Dual Knight Counterblast will be important in the future, and having Dual Knight rearguards to lock is important as well. But yeah, 8 crit, 4 draw. Royal Paladins have a massive issue at producing criticals, being able to actually inflict damage, but they're very good at creating a field. Stand triggers aren't worth using because you don't hit columns which are strong enough to use stand triggers very well. So using crits is the best way, and running 4 draw because the extra draw power is nice. There's a couple of cards I want to change in my Grey 1 lineup, but I haven't got those yet, so I'll just go straight into this. We've got 4 of the Limit Enabler. Basically, if you don't have 4 damage, you can still use Limit Break, so good card, really good. Just it helps you with lots of your plays, and it's just a very consistent card because you can search it out using quite a few different methods. The most notable one being your Grey 2 Tilda, and also when it comes out the Legion Mate as well, but that's not out like I said, so I'll stop going on about it. We also have 4 Arwen. Personally I want to drop 1 Arwen for a different card, which I will do at a later point, but I haven't got the other card yet. It will be for Sword of Hope Richard because it's really good, 3 pluses, but currently running 4 of her, mostly because you drop Ashlei's, your Ashlei's will go into drop zone quite a lot, so the extra, being able to put them back for the extra 5k is really good. Next up, 2 of this really awkward card. I don't want it, I want to swap it for Richard, but I haven't got Richard at the moment. If you have 3 or more other rear guards with Dual Knight in the name, it becomes a 10k attacker, so it's a 10k attacker. It would be good in that Royal Paladin decks that don't have a special attacker of their own. So say you're building Sanctuary Guard Dragon, as long as you run Dual Knights as well in it, which, to be honest, it's not worth the effort of building the Dual Knights. Next up we've got our Sentinels, which are 1 Quintet Wall, 3 Perfect Guards. This is just because the current version of the deck doesn't counterblast that much. In the later version, in the version of the deck after this, I will be dropping a Quintet Wall for another Perfect Guard, but at the moment I don't need to, so there's no point in dropping it. And Perfect Guards are currently quite expensive, so I don't need to go into getting another one. Right, that's my Grade 1 lineup. next onto our grade 2s. This is like, it starts getting a bit more interesting here. The deck can be a bit vanilla, but it's really fun to play. First, 12k attacker, same limitation as the grade 1 10k attacker. You need to have 3 other rear guards with Draw Knight in their name. So you have to have virtually full field. Next up is one of the key cards in the deck. This is Tilda. When a grade 3 Draw Knight is placed on your Vanguard circle, you counterblast 1 and search that for a grade 1 or lower Royal Paladin unit. It says Royal Paladin unit, which is why I want to be getting some of this card to be able to add into my deck. I've only got the 1, I need 3. It basically, the ability to search for a counterblast 1 is really good. Just a free grade 1 to come out. There's some really funny combos you can do with combining this with Sage of Guidance Xenon, where you ride your grade. Say you've got your you want to have your limit 10 enabler out at this point already. You ride Ashlei, the Ashlei base. You counterblast the 1. You call out Sage of Guidance Xenon. You've shuffled your deck. If you then top deck the reverse, you get the Superior Break Ride, which is just really cool. It's just like a little fun thing which you can do. It's pretty cool, and I like the idea of it. I haven't actually tried it out too much myself. I don't like how inconsistent it is doing that, considering this deck's all about consistency. So it's not worth doing that. It's much better just to call out one of these guys behind, get a 3+. Like, that's +2 for a counterblast 1, soul blast 1, which is really good. But yeah, like I said, need more of this. Next up we have 4 Miranda. Miranda's a really good card, 11k attacker and SP as well. Yeah, 11k attacker. When it hits the Vanguard, choose one of your Ashlei Vanguards, and it gains +3k. So it kind of rectifies the issue you have with the 12k attacker by giving you a special 11k attacker, specifically for Ashlei, which is why the Ashlei deck is a lot better than the pure Dual Knight deck, because this card hits for an 11k and gives your Vanguard +3. Like, if you haven't got a booster behind your Vanguard, so you've locked the booster which would be behind your Vanguard, if this hits and you're at cross ride, you'll be hitting a 16, which is important for when you're hitting numbers. Outside of that, if you have a 6k booster behind your Vanguard and you hit with this, you'll hit 22. 7k booster, hit with this, you hit a 23, which is really good. And with your normal booster, you'll end up hitting a 24. Good solid columns, but yeah, the key card, like I said, is Tilda because of the superior core abilities, and it's just really good in general. Right, next up we go into our grade 3, the sort of bread and butter of the deck. Pure Heart Dual Knight Ashlei. This card's really good as a break ride goes, because Dual Knight, Royal Paladins in general have issues gaining criticals. So as much as people complain about this card being very vanilla, its ability to give crits makes it brilliant for Royal Paladins, because a lot of other clans like Narukami and Kagero, things like that, they have a way of giving crits, especially like you got Dimension Police or Dark Regulars. They can create a crit, they can make it so it's high pressuring at 3 damage. Right? The Break Ride on top of this gives you the pressure you need to be able to pressure at 3 damage, which a lot of Royal Paladin decks don't have outside of Thing Saver and things like that with the Resetting Vanguard, or MLB with the crit pressure inherently. So it's very, very important that you get the Break Ride off of this. The Break Ride off of this should be your win condition. You should have them at 3 damage at turn 3, turn 4 you Break Ride. If you don't win that turn, you're going for stall. You're going to be focusing rear guards and focusing on trying to get the card advantage, then push to win. Stalling for too long won't work because you'll run out of cards, you won't be able to repeat Break Ride all the time. Yeah, but the win condition is to Break Ride. It may seem weird that a deck will revolve this much around a Break Ride, but your win condition is to Break Ride. You Break Ride, 9 times out of 10 you'll win, just because your brake ride skill is really good. It causes so much pressure as long as you've played the deck correctly, that it's going to force your opponent to give up their entire hand to stop this card. Okay. In the eventuality that you do not win with that, you have the wonderful Cross Ride, which is one of the best cards Royal Paladins have ever gotten. It's just a pity the rest of the support hasn't been very good. This card, Cross Ride on top of the Break Ride, so it's a Cross Break Ride, and its ability, Counterblast 1, lock 1 unit, retire a front row unit of your opponent, and call a unit from your deck. That's any Jewel Knight from your deck. This is incredible. If you think of this in pure numbers terms, you break ride this, you'll be on a break ride turn, right? So break ride this, break ride turn, 23k. You have another Jewel Knight, lock it, call another Jewel Knight. That alone would be a strong skill. To get a free call for a lock of 1. But the fact it also minuses your opponent by locking one of their cards gives you so many free pluses for a Counterblast 1. Any other clan which would have a skill like that, it would be a Counterblast 2 at least. But this is one of the cheapest front row retiring skills in the game. Unfortunately, it's only able to be done once per turn. But if it wasn't limited to once per turn, it would be really, really stupid, and you wouldn't have any reason not to just ride this, repeat, abuse it, because it's really good. The pluses you get from this card, especially combining the on the break ride turn, if you have a Tilda already out, you ride Tilda, gets you a free, well, it's Soul Blast 1. Draw a card. Move Tilda back. Lock Tilda. Call out Miranda to come into front. 11k attacker in front of your locked unit. Right? And that's straight away giving you a much higher pressure than you would in almost any other Royal Paladin build that isn't the Seeker builds. The Seeker builds are different because Seeker builds are a completely different type of archetype and they've got a lot more support. But yeah, this deck, because of the ability to just plus for cheap calls, which is very, very weird for a Royal Paladin deck to have, because Royal Paladins generally are more expensive, very specific calls. This is very specific calls for a much cheaper cost. Considering the standard for a call for a Royal Paladin used to be Counterblast 2 specific call. If you look at Akane, which is Counterblast 2, call a High Beast. Or you look at any of the other calling units, like Constance, it hits, Counterblast 2, call a grade 1. Or it's a cost of minus card, because Counterblast 2 used to be generally considered as a card. The only really limitation to this is you're locking a unit, which can cause you to lose out on numbers during the turn that you do it. But you make up for it by retiring units. So you're getting a unit for a Counterblast 1, reducing your attack power 1 column at the cost of retiring one of their units. So it's just incredible the amount of pluses you get off that card. It's a really good engine, and I don't understand why more people aren't playing the deck, because as much as it's not in favour, it will transition incredibly well into Stride. I'll go into a bit more detail on why it transitions well into Stride. There's a grade 2, which is the Legion mates to a very poor Legion, I must say, for Jewel Knights. This Legion mate is one of the most potent cards in the game. It's a Counterblast 1, call a grade 1 or less Jewel Knight when it's placed on rearguard. So you play it, Counterblast 1, call a grade 1 behind it. That alone, the plus for a Counterblast 1, same cost and and a similar plussing ability as you get from Ashlei Reverse, but it's Counterblast on Dual Knight, Caller Dual Knight. It's one of the most potent pluses in the game because of how it can be abused with Stride. With Stride, you can hit with the structure check Stride, which then allows you to call a grade 2 unit from a deck, and then you get to call another grade 1 because you have called Sodomy, which is grade 2. And the amount of pluses you can get off this card for nothing makes this deck run a lot better. You would be putting in Sodomy instead of your 12k beta and dropping one Miranda for another Sodomy as well. It's just really good. Also, Stride has the ability to abuse the likes of Ordain Owl, Arwen, and the Gancelot special one as well, because your Stride unit retains the name of your Vanguard underneath. So you discard a grade 3 for Stride, put the grade 3 back to the bottom of the deck, plus 5k to your Stride. So effectively you're getting a plus 20k swing on your Vanguard, so it's basically 31, no cost really, which is really good. You're mitigating the cost by putting the card back and then triple drive, so you've mitigated the so you've turned the discard into a plus 20 and then getting 3 drive checks, so it's effectively you're getting plus 20 for nothing within just 2 normal drive checks, except the additional drive check could net you another card if you hit draw triggers. So it's just really potent. These things like the Regalia one is really potent, and Genesis will have a massive resurgence in Stride because of this, I believe, in the English meta at least, because people have thought about it a bit more and realise this crazy thing which can be done. God Paladins will have a massive boost as of when their stuff comes out in Generation Booster 3, because they get G units, they get a load of support, and they have the Gancelot's ability to do that, so you can drop Gancelots for it. So that is really potent in itself, and this deck itself is just going to transition really well, so I'm going to keep people posted on this, and hopefully this deck will be able to compete. And I'm planning on, depending on how this deck keeps on running and how well it competes with the likes of the X and things like that, I will continue this deck into Stride, and it will probably be my competitive deck, and I want to take this deck to Worlds, just because it's incredible, and it will probably be my Team League deck. There is one other deck which I may take if the individual Worlds allow hybrid decks. That I may choose either the Great Nature Grand Blue deck, which I will do a review of once the set is released, and the Thing Saver Blasted Joker deck, which I'll also do a review on when the set is released. These 2 decks are really potent as well, but yeah, they're just the 3 decks which I'm planning on using. This will be my Team League deck, and then the other deck will be my Worlds deck, probably. I've rambled on for enough. This is Towan. I've talked way too much about Cardfight today, and just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.